Rather than large, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again with the Arsenal News Show, and we're going to be discussing much about Arsenal, Manchester United slipping yesterday. Again, another point dropped, and of course, that means even if they win all their games in hand, now they do not get to us. That is really impressive. We'll be discussing that, but also reports that Edu has agreed a deal in principle with Renato Sanchez. We'll be discussing that as well. Philippe Coutinho, what is the truth about this deal? I brought you all the latest reports, all what has been said about Coutinho to Arsenal. We're going to be discussing that, and of course, what is the latest around Matias Svanberg and more players, especially Lacazette and his new contract? Is this extending? Is he rejecting Arsenal? We are gonna find out in today's video. We are sponsored by the beautiful people from Melbet. They are saying if you want to bet some money, like I said over the weekend, on Boxing Day, it was Sunday. We did win some money there. Arsenal beating Norwich 5-0. So if you want to win some money, the next games are coming up today. Liverpool take on Leicester City, I think that's gonna be a goals galore. So if you want to win some money there with Melbet, link is in the video description, and use my promo code Cossy to support the podcast. Obviously, bet responsibly. Do not bet what you cannot lose, and of course, you must be above the age of 25. Your capital can go up as well as down, so make sure you bet what you can afford to lose. Right about now, let's get to the content, because if you start off lights with yesterday's game against Manchester United against Newcastle, 1-1 was the final score, like you can see on your screen. Saint-Maximin there in the 7th minute, getting one goal for Newcastle, the lead there. And then Manchester United as well, finding an equalizer through Edson Cavani in the 71st minute. It was really, really impressive for me from Newcastle. That is what I wanted. I cannot ask more from Newcastle. Yes, they deserve to win, and of course, I think they were very, very unlucky in the dying minutes of that game. They could have grabbed a winner, but I could care less. They've done the job. Manchester United, when even if they play all their games in hand and they win them, they will not be able to get to us, because if you look at the table there, lads, on your screen, you can see United there in position 7, 28 points, and Arsenal up there in position 4, 35 points. That means that we are 7 points ahead of them. They have 2 games in hand, and that means they only have 6 points to catch up. Of course, we have the gap is 7 points. They can only manage 6 points out of those games. Really good work by Newcastle, and I'm gonna say that is really, really impressive from Eddie Howe's side. So United, chill out. Of course, we take on Manchester City in the next game. They do have a couple of games. They'll play Burnley. They'll also play Wolves. If they can sleep again, it's going to be really, really marvelous. But anyway, that is what happened yesterday in the EPL action. Moving on, guys, to the transfer daily. We're going to be discussing Philippe Coutinho, and I'll start off with this report from Football.London, and they have said Arsenal reportedly in talks with Philippe Coutinho as a loan and swap deal targeted. Now, of course, this is really, really interesting, because I said yesterday that Arsenal are really scouting and considering the possibility of signing Philippe Coutinho. It didn't look, it didn't sound very real, but it was there. Many reports since then have been written around this story. Moving on there, lads, you can see, according to the Sport, they claim that Barcelona are clear that Coutinho's departure can only be finalized through a loan deal. They have spoken with Arsenal, with Tottenham, with Everton and Newcastle, and it seems that the player himself and his agents would prefer the Arsenal option. Again, that is something that is really, really, really trending a lot on Twitter, trending a lot in terms of Arsenal news. Philippe Coutinho, they have been talks held between Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton, and a couple of other clubs, and the player wants to join Arsenal. He doesn't want to join any other club. The Sport, a publication writing from Spain, and they claim the Arsenal are the preferred destination for Philippe Coutinho. And of course, more reports have been written around that story. Coutinho was offered to Arsenal weeks ago, and initially the London club took it with some suspicion. But Barca have already made it clear to Coutinho's people that they are going to provide all kinds of facilities so that the deal can go ahead. Of course, I think any club that's going to sign Philippe Coutinho, they do have their own, they will have their own, problems. They'll have their own concerns in terms of wages, in terms of how much the player is going to be, costing, and a couple of other things. What I think Barcelona will do, and I think what they should do, is that they should reduce the price of the player, and they should also be paying half of the wages of Philippe Coutinho if a loan deal is going to be explored in January. But of course, guys, they're allowed to move on about what the AFC agent has actually put out. He has also said about Philippe Coutinho as well. He's one of the many players Barca want to sell. He's being offered all around. Currently, I've got nothing on him coming to Arsenal. Seems coming to Arsenal seems an easy link to make after Alba to Barca rumors, but yet I have nothing on this. So it's really, really interesting, lads. All the stories, all the rumors around Philippe Coutinho, there's so many at the moment. He's trending around Arsenal, of course, offered to a couple of clubs, but I do not understand. It would never make any sense for me for Philippe Coutinho to join Arsenal. Of course, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, there is going to join Roma, according to the latest reports, according to Sky Sport. He's going to join Roma, and Arsenal will be getting in a new midfielder. But Coutinho is not a CDM. Coutinho is not a CM. He is actually an attacking midfielder, and that is why I do not see the necessity of Arsenal getting in Philippe Coutinho Correa. But then, lads, moving on to what is actually a more believable story. Arsenal have opened formal talks with Lille over the possibility of a January transfer of Renato Sanchez. Edu has reportedly reached an agreement in principle with the agent of the Portuguese midfielder. A bid of around 38 million euros, that is by AFC, would be viewed as acceptable. Now, that is another story, lads, coming in from France. The Arsenal have started official talks to sign Renato Sanchez in January. Yesterday, I did tell you that, of course, Ainsley leaving Eduardo Hagan did give us a big update, and he said that Ainsley Maitland-Niles being able to leave the club in January, it means one thing: that Arsenal are looking at a new midfielder. They are looking at bringing in someone with a lot of potential. Partey leaving in January for AFCON. Elneny will not be available, until the end, after the end of the season, and obviously Ainsley will also be leaving the club as well at the end of the season. Arsenal then should be looking at bringing in someone who has a future, someone who is really, really, really going to be serving as a future prospect, and that could be Renato Sanchez, because here you can see for yourselves, Arsenal have open talks with Lille over the possibility of signing him there in January. Edu reportedly having an agreement in principle with the agent of the player. We cannot confirm that. I cannot really confirm that at the moment, but I can confirm that yes, there is lots of interest from Fabrizio Romano. He's already reported it, that there is a lot of interest from Arsenal in Renato Sanchez, and a deal could happen any time soon. Moving on, then, lads, to what is happening around Arsenal in other reports. Reports in Ghana say that Thomas Partey will join the Ghana international team on the 2nd of January, and he will be available to face Manchester City on the weekend. Now, a couple of reports have actually indicated that Arsenal are in negotiations with the Ghana Association, Ghana Football Association, to see that the player does not join them as soon as possible. Arsenal there want to let the player go by January. Of course, the Ghana Football Association wanted the player even before Boxing Day, but Arsenal said, we cannot give you our player. Of course, he is their player as well, before Boxing Day. Of course, what I saw that was really, really good from Mikel Arteta is that he put off the player just to give him the kind of security that he doesn't pick up an injury late in the game. He just put him off the game and brought on Mohamed Elneny. I think it was really, really professional. I think it was really, really good. But there, guys, if he can be available for Manchester City, if Thomas Partey can be available for Manchester City, that is going to be something really, 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 really marvelous for us, because again it's City. They are very, very difficult side in terms of midfield. They are really, really, really ruthless. They can keep the ball 80%, 90%, 100% of the time. So you need your best midfielders, you need your best players there when you're going to play the likes of Manchester City. And of course, they're not going to lose any player in that midfield to AFCON. It's going to be really, really dependent on whether Partey is available or not. But according to reports, he might actually report after the game against Manchester City. So let's wait and see what is really going to happen there. And of course, guys, moving on, Alexander Lacazette, according to L'Equipe, they are saying Lacazette has rejected Arsenal's offer for a 1-year extension and is looking elsewhere, according to L'Equipe. This according to AFTV, and they were asking, should we sell Lacazette in January or keep him until the end of the season, which would mean losing him on a free deal? I think for me, that is, guys, that one there is a no-brainer. Arsenal might not be able to afford, and we might not be able to get in a new striker, a good striker there in January. I don't see Arsenal getting in a good striker in January. So keep Alexander Lacazette until the end of the season. Keep him until the end of the season, and probably we can get a good striker in the summer. So L'Equipe there trying to tell us that Arsenal will not, will not be staying with Alexander Lacazette because the offer has been rejected by the player and he is looking somewhere else. Now, Kevin Campbell has also made some beautiful comments there on the man himself, Frankie de Jong, and he said, I would love to see him at Arsenal. He's one of the players who would really fit into Mikel Arteta's squad. He would fit in effortlessly. I think he's brilliant. He would be brilliant besides Thomas Partey. Of course, we know he's been linked with Arsenal there. Frankie de Jong, very, very, very massive talent. Very, very big player. I'm a very, very big fan. Can we sign Frankie de Jong? It's a very, very, very big question. Yes, Barca do want to sell him. PSG want him, and a couple of other clubs, including Manchester City and Manchester United, are interested in Frankie de Jong. Do I take Frankie de Jong? 100%. Can we get Frankie de Jong? It's a very, very big question because, again, lads, it's a transfer that Arsenal will have to do a lot in order to get. But I cannot disagree with Kevin Campbell. He's another really talented player. One player that when I think about him, I see a whole midfield. I just see a complete midfielder, a finished article of a player. If Arsenal can get him, well and good. I think he's 100 times better than Granit Xhaka, 2,000 times better than Granit Xhaka. If you got in Frankie de Jong, that is a massive upgrade to our midfield. Moving on, lads, then Sky Sports, they are confirming that Ainsley is close to reaching an agreement with Roma on loan for the rest of the season. The feeling at Roma is that Mourinho will be able to help Ainsley Maitland-Niles discover the best form of his life, as happened with Tammy Abraham. So Mourinho, they're trying to raid Arsenal once again. Of course, we spoke about this story yesterday, and I did say Ainsley. That is a very, very good deal for Ainsley. There is no way I would keep a player like Ainsley Maitland-Niles because I know he will never play for Arsenal. There is no way he's going to play for Arsenal. So if there is just a simple opportunity, if there is a small opportunity for him to be playing football elsewhere, I'll definitely take that, and I would just ask Arsenal to take that as as a team. Give the player some chance. Give him some chance to go elsewhere, explore opportunities elsewhere, and play football. And then lastly, lads, we'll be speaking about Matias Svanberg. Arsenal, they are monitoring Bologna midfielder Matias Svanberg. Is a player that has caught the eye of Mikel Arteta, and the club are scouting him. Decision to be made as whether the club will make a move for him in January. That's according to AFC Register. Now, what I can confirm with Matias Svanberg is that Arsenal are looking at a couple of midfielders, and he is inclusive. He's actually been developing very, very well as a player, and of course we know Arsenal are looking at that age bracket, 22, 23, 24, 21, 20. That is the age bracket we are looking at. If you are in that age bracket, you do stand a big opportunity. But at the moment, it looks like he's not the priority. Renato Sanchez is the priority for Arsenal in this January transfer window. And if you fail to get Renato, maybe then we might see Matias Svanberg joining Arsenal. But at the moment, I do not see that deal really happen. So that is the latest lights around Arsenal. That is the latest around the club in terms of transfers, in terms of our hopes to the Champions League. Of course, United sleeping yesterday. I wish they could just drop 1 points day in, day out. They're playing Burnley next, and they'll play Wolves next. They could drop some points there. You never know if they can drop 1 point or 2 points against Burnley, 1 point or 2 points against against Wolves, it just makes Arsenal's cushion better and bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, there is a possibility that Thomas Partey will be available for Manchester City, for the Manchester City game. That is highly appreciated as well. And of course, the truth about Philippe Coutinho joining Arsenal and everything that has been written in this video. So make sure you smash a like on the video. Let's get this one to 300 likes, and I'll speak to you right in the next one. As always, come on, you Gunners, and we are always sponsored by Mailbet. Make sure you do check out their website. Link is in the video description. Use Cossy promo code when you reach there for a 300% bonus. Bet responsibly. Do not bet. Do not stake what you cannot afford to lose.